Hey there, welcome back to the channel. You know, our bodies are constantly communicating with us, sending subtle messages about what's happening beneath the surface. But are you fluent in your body's language? Today, we're diving into something that might seem trivial but could actually be incredibly important, especially if you're over 60. Have you ever experienced that maddening itch that just won't quit? You know, the kind that has you reaching for lotions and changing detergents with no relief? Well, what if I told you that persistent itch might be more than just an annoyance? It could be your body's desperate attempt to tell you something critical about your health. That's right. Certain types of itching in specific body locations have been linked to potentially serious conditions that could affect your longevity. Medical researchers who study aging have documented clear patterns showing how these seemingly innocent irritations might actually be red flags waving frantically for your attention. If you're enjoying this kind of health insight, I'd love to have you join our community. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss these potentially life-saving tips we share each week. Now, let's explore 4 specific areas where chronic itching might be signaling something much more significant than dry skin. By recognizing these warning signs early, you could potentially add quality years to your life. Let's dive in. The lower leg. Mystery. Let's start with a spot many people overlook: persistent itchiness on the lower legs. When your calves, shins, or ankles develop a stubborn itch without any visible rash, something deeper might be brewing. Consider the tale of 2 seniors, James and Robert. Both are in their early 80s with very different lifestyles. James maintains his mobility with daily neighborhood strolls. He's proactive about checking his extremities and hasn't noticed anything unusual. Robert, however, has become increasingly sedentary. Lately, he's been battling this frustrating itch creeping up his legs, particularly intense at night or after extended periods of sitting. The moisturizers he's tried provide no relief. What Robert doesn't realize is that his itchy legs might be signaling poor circulation, specifically a condition called peripheral artery disease. When blood isn't efficiently reaching those lower extremities, the skin becomes parched, sensitive, and uncommonly itchy. This isn't just about discomfort. When your legs aren't receiving proper blood flow, it creates a ripple effect throughout your entire cardiovascular system. The muscles and tissues weaken over time, placing additional strain on your heart and vascular network. Research has connected these circulation issues to elevated risks of cardiac disease, stroke, and cognitive decline. Did you know your legs are sometimes called the second heart? That's because they play a crucial role in pumping blood back, upward through your body. When this system falters, everything above it can suffer. The silver lining? This type of itchiness often responds well to intervention if addressed promptly. Simple solutions like gentle leg exercises, short regular walks, and elevating your feet while seated can significantly improve circulation. Staying well hydrated, wearing supportive compression socks, and reducing sodium intake can also make remarkable differences. So if you've been scratching those lower legs without explanation, your body might be urgently trying to communicate something important about your circulation. The back's secret message. Now let's talk about that maddening itch in the middle of your back. You know, the one that's nearly impossible to reach. While frustrating, this particular discomfort might actually be trying to reach you with a crucial message. Many older adults experience persistent itchiness across their upper or mid-back. It's tempting to blame it on dry skin or clothing irritation, but medical evidence suggests this specific itch often points to something far more significant: potential issues with your liver or kidneys. These vital filtration organs are responsible for cleansing toxins from your bloodstream and maintaining your body's internal balance. When they begin struggling, waste products can accumulate in your system, causing skin irritation, particularly in nerve-dense areas like your back. Consider the contrast between Margaret and Barbara, both in their mid-70s. Margaret maintains regular medical checkups, stays properly hydrated, and has always enjoyed healthy skin. Barbara, however, has recently noticed increasing fatigue, slight ankle swelling, and a persistent back itch that intensifies at night. Despite changing detergents and applying moisturizers diligently, the irritation persists. What Barbara doesn't understand is that this stubborn itch might be her body signaling kidney strain or compromised liver function. When these critical organs falter, the effects cascade throughout your entire system, disrupting everything from digestion and sleep quality to energy levels and mental clarity. The itchy skin associated with liver or kidney dysfunction typically shares certain characteristics. It's persistent, resistant to conventional treatments, and often appears without visible rash. It frequently worsens at night, creating a vicious cycle of poor sleep and diminished vitality. Studies have linked this type of chronic itching to reduced longevity in seniors, not because the itching itself is dangerous, but because it represents an underlying imbalance that could be silently progressing. However, this isn't cause for alarm. It's simply a reason to be proactive. A basic blood panel can often reveal how efficiently these organs are functioning, supporting them through proper hydration, reducing processed food consumption, moderating alcohol intake, and monitoring sodium levels can significantly ease their burden. If you're currently taking multiple medications, consider discussing their cumulative impact on your liver and kidneys with your healthcare provider. These conversations could make a tremendous difference in your overall well-being. If you're finding value in these insights, I'd love to know you're with me. Please take a second to hit that like button. It helps more people discover this potentially life-saving information. And if you haven't joined our community yet, now's the perfect time to subscribe and ring that notification bell. The neck and scalp connection. When persistent itchiness develops on your scalp or along the back of your neck, it's easy to blame ordinary culprits, perhaps dandruff, a reaction to hair products, or simply the aging process. However, for many seniors, this particular irritation often signals something far more profound. This type of itching frequently connects to underlying stress, inflammation, or even changes in your nervous system that can impact both physical resilience and mental well-being. The nerves surrounding your scalp and neck are extraordinarily sensitive, often responding first when your body experiences strain, particularly emotional or neurological tension that builds gradually over time. Consider Thomas and William, both approaching their 80th birthdays with very different lifestyles. Thomas remains socially engaged, spends afternoons tending his garden, and practices brief meditation sessions before bed. He's always maintained a characteristically relaxed demeanor. William, however, has struggled with the transition into retirement. He's become increasingly housebound, experiences restlessness at night, and carries unacknowledged stress. Recently, he's developed an inexplicable urge to scratch his head throughout the day. Despite trying different shampoos and pillowcases, the irritation persists. What William doesn't recognize is that this mysterious itch likely represents a physical manifestation of emotional tension and nervous system fatigue. As we age, our stress response mechanisms become less efficient. Rather than returning to baseline after moments of worry, the body often remains in a low-grade alert state, maintaining elevated cortisol levels while suppressing immune function. This tension frequently expresses itself through the body's most sensitive nerve endings, like those abundant in the scalp and neck region. Research has even connected chronic itching in these areas to conditions like neuropathy and early indicators of cognitive decline. While this doesn't necessarily indicate something serious in every case, it should never be dismissed without consideration. The encouraging news is that there are numerous ways to calm your nervous system and alleviate this type of itching. Simple breathing techniques, time spent in nature, reconnecting with friends, or even briefly journaling before bedtime can help. Regulate your body's stress responses. When William incorporated modest lifestyle adjustments, morning walks, limiting evening news exposure, and weekly calls with his brother, he noticed the itching gradually subsided as tension released from his system. If you've been experiencing unexplained itchiness around your head or neck after ruling out skin conditions and allergies, consider examining your emotional state. Your body responds not only to external factors, but also to internal burdens. Sometimes that persistent itch represents your nervous system gently requesting some peace. The torso's tail. Most people associate declining health with obvious symptoms like breathlessness, dizziness, or memory issues. However, the skin across your chest and abdomen can silently communicate volumes about your internal health, particularly when it develops unexplained itchiness. Seniors who frequently experience irritation across their torso, especially around the chest or stomach areas, may be facing more than a minor skin problem. This pattern of itching often signals nutritional deficiencies or absorption issues that can quietly undermine your body's strength, immune defenses, and regenerative capabilities. Let's examine the experiences of Helen and Patricia, both 81 years old. Helen still prepares varied meals featuring colorful produce and adequate protein. Though her appetite has diminished with age, she prioritizes nutritional quality. Patricia, however, has gradually lost interest in food preparation. She frequently skips meals, relies on simple carbohydrates like crackers or canned soups, and feels satisfied with smaller portions. Concurrently, she's noticed increasing irritation across her chest and abdomen, particularly in the evenings. The affected areas sometimes feel tender or unusually dry. Despite trying different body washes, the discomfort continues. What Patricia doesn't realize is that our digestive efficiency naturally declines with age, potentially compromising absorption of essential nutrients, especially vitamin B12, omega fatty acids, and minerals like zinc and magnesium. When these deficiencies develop, the skin becomes dehydrated, nerve signals grow erratic, and immune function weakens. Areas like the torso, with their dense network of nerves and blood vessels, become particularly susceptible to irritation and itchiness. More importantly, these internal deficiencies silently impact muscle strength, energy production, and cognitive function. Perhaps most concerning is how malnutrition in older adults often remains undetected because it doesn't necessarily manifest as weight loss. You might maintain a stable weight while your body quietly struggles without essential nutrients required for optimal functioning. This is why persistent torso itchiness represents more than mere discomfort. It potentially signals that your body lacks the fundamental building blocks needed for longevity and vitality. Fortunately, this issue responds remarkably well to intervention. Improving nutrition doesn't require drastic changes. Simple additions like a handful of nuts, boiled eggs, fresh berries, or a quality multivitamin formulated for seniors can dramatically improve your nutritional status over time. If you've noticed unexplained itchiness across your chest or abdomen while your eating habits have declined, consider this your gentle reminder to prioritize nourishment, not simply for immediate comfort, but for long-term well-being. Listening to your body's wisdom as we wrap up today's exploration, take a moment for honest self-reflection. Have you experienced any of these warning signals we've discussed? Remember, occasional itchiness happens to everyone, but persistent irritation in these specific areas might carry deeper significance. From compromised circulation in your lower extremities to potential liver or kidney strain, from stress manifesting through your scalp to nutritional gaps signaling across your torso, your body communicates constantly. It rarely shouts. Instead, it whispers through subtle cues like skin irritation. The empowering message here is that recognizing these early warning signs offers you tremendous agency. None of these signals indicate an irreversible fate. Rather, each one presents an opportunity to course correct before minor issues escalate. The adjustments required are often surprisingly simple, moving more consistently, enhancing your nutrition, prioritizing restorative rest, or reconnecting with yourself and others. If you recognized any of these patterns today, consider it an invitation to make one small positive change. If these signals aren't currently present in your life, you're now equipped with knowledge that could prove invaluable in the future. Because ultimately, our goal isn't merely extending lifespan, it's enhancing health span, living longer with independence, clarity, and joy. Attentively listening to your body's early signals, even the seemingly insignificant ones that itch, represents one of the wisest strategies for achieving that balance. Thank you for joining me today. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Share one insight you gained from our discussion and how you plan to implement it. Your experiences might help someone else in our community recognize an important signal their body is sending. If you found this information valuable, please support our channel by subscribing, liking, and sharing with someone who might benefit. Your engagement allows us to continue creating content designed to help you live your healthiest, most vibrant life possible. Until next time, remember, your body's whispers today can prevent tomorrow's shouts. Stay well.